Hey Maya, I got this pamphlet about going to gymnasium next year.
Oh, great. Let's see. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
This might take a while.
We're the Youngs.
We've spent our lives traveling the world.
And in 2018, we moved from
Chicago, Illinois to
Copenhagen, Denmark
Now we want to share with you
how our new lives abroad
is keeping us young.
keeping us young.
are helping to keep us young.
Welcome back to Traveling Young, and this video is about choosing schools and gymnasium for next year. If you're new to our channel, subscribe down below for more videos.
Yep.
But let's get into it.
Yeah, so Maya is going to gymnasium next year. She's in EFTA school this year.
Yes.
And we just went through the process of getting on the website and making her selections for gymnasium, which gymnasium is really different from US high school.
Yeah. And it's really confusing when you first come here because, when we first came here, when we were in America, I was about to go into high school when we moved.
Yeah, she were about to go into 9th grade.
When we moved here, we were like, okay, well, I guess she'll go to high school then. It was really confusing because there's something in Danish that translates to
high school.
But
which
that's
is
not what I mean.
Even more different than
It's even
gymnasium.
more different than gymnasium.
Yeah. When I was very naive in thinking that countries around the world kind of all had the same path to college, and I found out that they don't. And it took me quite a while to figure that out, especially with the Danish school system. And we can pop up an illustration of this that I found on the Danish Ministry of Education that actually shows you all of the different levels that you go through. So there's like the standard education that goes up to year 9. And then there's year 10.
Which is kind of
But you don't
blur.
have to do year 10.
Yeah, you don't have to do year 10. You can
you can go straight from year 9 to gymnasium.
Yeah, you can either skip year 10 altogether and just go to gymnasium or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You can stop education altogether also.
Yeah.
Or you can go to a 10th grade, which is like a regular school, but just for 1 year.
Yeah.
Or you can do what I'm doing, which is after school.
Which is go to
where
after
you
school.
live at the school.
Or you could take a gap year.
Yeah,
I
that
think.
too.
You can also take a gap year. And so after year whatever you decide, if you do, let's say you do a year 10, you do an EFTA school. After EFTA school, you can choose basically 6 or 7 different paths because there's 4 different types of gymnasiums that you can go to.
And then there's all the vocational
And then
schools
there's 2 or 3 different kinds of vocational schools that you can go to. And so Maya's not doing vocational schools, but I will say the Danish education system has very strong support for people who want to do more of a vocational career. So
which is super cool.
Yeah, which is really great. And, doing blue collar, we call it blue collar work. So being a plumber, being a tradesman is actually quite supported here, I feel like.
Yeah. So it's really good that there's schools for that.
Yeah. And so there is a dedicated path for that. But Maya's doing gymnasium. And so that's where it gets a bit complicated because gymnasiums, there's 4 different types of gymnasiums. And so there's an STX.
Okay, there's STX, which is kind of like, standard, the normal one.
Yeah.
It's not like specialized in any way. And then there's HTX, which is science, like STEM. And then there's HHX, which is what I'm planning on doing, which is business and marketing, finances, all that.
Yeah. And then there's HF.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we're a bit confused by the HF because we know it's like a 2-year program.
Yeah. If someone could explain that to us, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Because
I don't exactly understand that. But unlike in the US, where when you go to high school, you go to the school that you're zoned for. And that is true for your elementary school, your middle school, and your high school. You have basically very little choice in what school you go to.
Yeah, basically the neighborhood you live in, the school is there, that's where you go. You don't get to choose. The choice only comes with college. But it's also kind of nice because if you live in the same area for your whole life, it's like you meet these people in kindergarten and then you go to school with them until you're seniors. So that's really nice.
So yeah, it's it's very different from what it is here in Denmark. But we'll explain a little bit more. But right now, we are going to break for Try It On Tuesday.
Welcome back to Try It On Tuesday.
Yes, this is my second alcoholic Try It On Tuesday.
Yeah,
which is
very exciting.
I know.
This time we got the Gajol.
We're probably saying it wrong.
Yep.
It's fine.
Absolutely. Pomegranate, Lakrids, vodka. And this has been recommended by some people. And hold on, I'm going to do mine first.
Sorry. Just give me a little bit. I'm like 2 centimeters tall. I can't have that much alcohol in my body.
All right, we're using the Texas Ranger shot glasses. I got once at a Rangers game when I was there, and I think there was actually like a dessert.
You can probably see on mine since I have barely any drink in it.
Texas Rangers. So, all right, let's do this. Cheers. Skål.
Yes.
So I have to say that there's a very distinct Lakrids taste in there, for sure. You all right?
I hate licorice.
And but I do taste a little bit of pomegranate, but I got to say the Lakrids is quite strong.
Pomegranate. Yeah, pomegranate. I hate it. There's so much licorice taste in my mouth. I forgot what fruit it was.
But it's better than the hot and spicy thing that you didn't do. But I feel like the pure shot from Aarhus is a little bit better than this. But yeah, we've got yet another Lakrids tasting.
I'm sorry. I'm like a Lakrids hater in every video.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I just have such a visceral feeling about.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. This was another Try It On Tuesday. I think next time we'll probably try to not do alcohol. Maybe try something else.
Something more normal.
Yeah. I don't know promises though, because the list of things seems to be pretty dominated by alcohol.
Give us some snacks and desserts.
All right. Well, let's go back to the video.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers. No shot this time.
And we're back from yet another alcohol-based Try It On Tuesday.
I know we're starting like a really bad track record. We're only doing drinking videos, and I have my breezer thing. We're looking really bad.
Yeah, but I swear we don't drink.
We're
this
just
much.
taking your suggestions.
Yeah, it's you guys just keep suggesting alcohol, so it's your fault.
Anyway,
so just really quickly, I do want to explain that in the US, we do have some choice in schools that the kids can go to because outside of the regular public schools, you can go to things called a charter school. You could go to a private school. You could go to a private religious school. There's magnet schools for gifted children. So there are other schools that you can go to. But for the most part, kids mostly go to
that's
their
kind of the norm.
Zoned primary school or their zone schools. So for us, when we came over to Denmark, we had to make kind of the difficult decision of whether to put Maya in international school or folk school.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we decided to do folk school.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for 2 years. No. Yeah, 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
When we first moved here, I was in this class that's kind of like an ESL thing in America. So it's for students who don't speak Danish and need to learn Danish to get integrated into the normal school system.
And ESL means English as a second language. So this is the same concept.
Yeah. So I was in that for not even like a year, actually.
Not even, because it was maybe like 6 or 7 months. Because,
which is kind of impressive because most people in there are
in there for a long time.
Yeah, the people I knew that were in there for they'd already been there for like a year or two.
Yeah, but the problem with the M class that Maya was in was that there was a good majority of the class was quite a bit younger than her.
Yeah, the problem there's M1, M2, and M3. M3 is the oldest one. I was in that one, but I was like,
you were the oldest.
The oldest.
Yeah, and we really started to notice that she was kind of suffering from having to do, because they kind of teach everybody a little bit at the same level. And so for her, it was stuff that she had done years before. Yeah. And it was really just bored out of your mind. And so we did eventually push to have her kind of what we would call mainstreamed into the regular classes with the other Danish
integrated
kids.
A little bit. A little
sprinkling.
So my first year, I was in math and science. Yeah, math and science in the 8th grade class. And then I took English with the 9th graders because I was able to take my exam.
And then the next year, when she did 9th grade,
I was fully integrated.
She was fully integrated. So all of her classes were in Danish. So that was pretty big. And you didn't have to do the exams because it was Corona.
I did my English one though. Yes. I have taken one exam.
Yeah. So from there, kids can either do a 10th grade or not do a 10th grade. And so you decided to do 10th grade. And we found out about the after school thing, and we really decided, well, I'm not sure you were 100% on board at first. But we were like, we really wanted her to do an after school year. And so.
But at first, we didn't really know anything about after school. So I just kind of like asked my friends.
Picked one.
I was like, where are you guys going? Cool, great. I'll go there.
Yeah.
I didn't really know anything about it. And I didn't really know there were like specialized schools yet. I didn't even find that out until like a year later.
No.
So then when I chose after school the second time, I knew more about it and I was able to choose something that's more me.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about now gymnasium, that you've now
extra me.
Yeah. So gymnasium is, I hesitate to call it the Danish high school because it's really not an equivalent to American
education.
High school. It's quite different, and you can choose from basically 4 different types of gymnasiums. And so you just put in your request basically for 4 different gymnasiums to go to next year.
Yeah, because March just started. The deadline for requests is March 1st, so I just submitted it.
Yeah, I
have 4 schools that I am going between. I have 4 entries. 3 of them are HHX, which is business. And then I have 1 HTX, which is like STEM science. Because I still like science, but I just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, just to round things out.
Yeah, have a little, options.
Yeah. And so when we moved here, we really thought about the long-term plan for Maya. And that weighed a lot into why we put her into largely Danish schools as opposed to international schools. We really decided that it wouldn't be a good idea for her in the long run to do an international school if she's going to stay. Because then if she didn't learn as much Danish, she would have a harder time maybe even getting into university here. So we wanted her
experience.
Yeah. So we wanted her to be able to do that. And so we decided to go ahead and put her in folk school and now after school and then Danish gymnasium.
Yeah.
So
I think it's really benefited me though in the long run. At first it was really, really hard, but now it's okay because now I'm like a way better at Danish than my parents. So.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. We'll see what comes back and we'll see if she gets into her top pick.
I'm sure I will make a video about gymnasium at some point.
Yeah.
And I can talk about while I'm there.
Yeah.
And maybe then I'll be able to mention the one I'm in. Hopefully it's the first choice.
But we wanted to kind of give people an idea of what education is like here in Denmark and how much choice you have and, all the different ways that you can kind of do education here. And so hopefully this was informational, maybe not so much for the Danish people, but more for the Americans who are curious about the educational system. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate all of your comments and your support. We are super, super close to getting to 10,000 again. So if you can help us get there by Josh's birthday, that would be great, which is April 7th. So
then we won't have to buy a birthday gift.
Yeah.
So subscribe.
subscribe. Hit the like button. And thank you so much. So we will see you again next time. Bye.
Okay. Uber Lacquer's taste in my mouth now. I need like a tongue scraper. Anybody got a tongue scraper anywhere?